John woke up early on a sunny Tuesday morning, ready for his daily walk on the beach. He lived in a small coastal town in the USA, where the sandy beaches stretched for miles, and the sound of the ocean was always present. He grabbed his sunglasses and a hat and set out towards the beach. The air was cool and crisp, and the sun was just starting to peek over the horizon. As he walked, he felt the tension in his body slowly melting away, replaced by a sense of peace and tranquility. Hey there, ViralVids here. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell. We post the most beautiful, amazing, and scary videos every single day. Let's proceed with the video. The beach was relatively empty at this point of time in the morning. Only a few hardy souls were out, taking advantage of the cool weather before the heat of the day set in. John walked along the water's edge, letting the waves wash over his feet. He could feel the sand shifting and moving underfoot, a reminder of the constant change and movement of the world around him. As he walked, he took in the sights and sounds of the beach. The seagulls were calling to each other, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore were soothing. He passed by a group of people fishing and could smell the salty scent of the ocean mixed with the smell of bait. John continued walking, taking in the beauty of the beach and the ocean. As he walked, he thought about how lucky he was to live in such a beautiful place and how he was grateful for this daily ritual that helped him start each day on a positive note. Suddenly, he heard a loud barking coming from a nearby dune. He followed the sound and soon came upon a stray dog, pacing back and forth and barking frantically. The dog was a medium-sized, shaggy-haired mutt with big brown eyes that seemed to plead for help. John could tell that the dog had been wandering for a while, as it was thin and seemed tired. John approached the dog slowly, speaking softly and holding out his hand. The dog stopped barking and looked at him warily, but didn't seem aggressive. John could tell that the dog was lost and scared, and he felt a wave of empathy for the animal. Without hesitation, John knelt down and gently stroked the dog's head. The dog immediately calmed down and leaned into John's touch. John could see the relief and gratitude in the dog's eyes, and he knew he had to help this stray animal. At that moment, he noticed there was a bottle on his neck with a note inside. There was a small glass bottle tied to the collar, with a cork stopper. It was clear that the bottle was not something the dog had found on its own, but something that had been placed there deliberately. John carefully untied the bottle from the collar and opened it. Inside, he found a rolled-up piece of paper with writing on it. He opened the note and read it, feeling shock and confusion as he took in the words. John was still in shock as he read the last sentence of the note, which said, "Please take good care of Max. He was taken away from his previous owners because they were abusive and he deserved a better life." John couldn't believe what he was reading. He had always thought that pet theft was a crime of opportunity, but this note suggested that someone had deliberately taken Max away from his previous owners because they were abusive. He felt a mix of emotions, anger towards the previous owners for mistreating Max, but also grateful for the person who had the courage to take him away from that situation. It made him think about his dog, Sam, that he lost several years ago. Sam was a German Shepherd, and he had been with John for over 15 years. They had grown up together and had an unbreakable bond. Sam was John's best friend. He always kept him company, and he was always there for him, through the good and the bad times. John loved Sam like a family member and couldn't imagine his life without him. One day, Sam started showing signs of being sick. He was lethargic, had a loss of appetite, and was losing weight. John took him to the vet, and it was discovered that Sam had cancer. The vet told John that there was nothing they could do and that Sam only had a few weeks to live. John was devastated. He couldn't believe that his best friend was going to be taken away from him so soon. He spent every waking moment with Sam, making sure that he was comfortable and loved. As Sam's condition worsened, John knew that he would have to make the difficult decision of putting Sam to sleep. He couldn't bear to see him suffer any longer. The day came when Sam's condition became unbearable, and John knew it was time. He held Sam in his arms as the vet administered the medication that would end his suffering. Sam passed away peacefully with John by his side. John was inconsolable, and he felt like a part of him had been taken away. He couldn't imagine his life without Sam and felt guilty for not being able to save him. He missed him terribly, and his home felt empty without him. But as time passed, John found comfort in the memories of the time he spent with Sam. He knew that Sam had lived a good life and that he had loved him until the end. He also knew that Sam would always be with him in his heart and that he would never forget him. That's why John felt a sense of responsibility towards Max. He knew that he had to make sure that the dog would end up in a loving and responsible home. He decided to spend more time with Max, taking him for walks, playing with him, and getting to know him better. As he spent time with Max, John began to notice signs that the dog had been mistreated in the past. Max was skittish around certain sounds and movements, and he had several scars on his body. John felt a surge of anger towards the previous owners, but he also felt a sense of determination to give Max the best life he could. John spent the next few days researching different animal shelters and rescue organizations, looking for the perfect home for Max. He made calls and sent emails explaining Max's situation and asking for help in finding him a new home. Finally, after a week of searching, John found the perfect match. A local animal rescue organization had a foster family that was looking to adopt a golden retriever, and they were willing to take in Max. John made arrangements to meet with them, and he could see how happy Max was to be with them. As he said goodbye to Max, John felt a mix of emotions. He was sad to see him go, but also relieved that Max was in a safe and loving home. It would only take a few days when he received a weird phone call. When John was about to go to work, he received a call from the animal rescue organization. They called to let him know that things were not going well with the foster family and Max, and whether John secretly knew someone who could take care of him. It didn't sit well with John that the dog didn't have a safe home after all. But he has thought so much about the dog in recent days and had already built up a bit of a bond with him. He decided to take care of the dog. He drove straight to the shelter and told the news upon arrival. They reunited the two of them again, and Max was over the moon. They hadn't seen him this happy in all that time. All's well that ends well. What did you think of the story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, like the video and subscribe. See you next time.